Welcome to the Iraqi Dinar Update channel, your trusted source for the latest news, analysis, and insights on the Iraqi dinar. We provide up-to-date information on exchange rates, economic developments, and key financial trends affecting Iraq's currency. Whether you're an investor, trader, or simply keeping an eye on the market, our channel delivers accurate reports, expert opinions, and government policy updates to keep you informed. Stay tuned for real-time updates and in-depth discussions on the future of the Iraqi dinar. Iraq has taken significant steps towards strengthening its economy and stabilizing its national currency, the Iraqi dinar. Over the years, the country has engaged in numerous financial reforms, improved fiscal policies, and sought to integrate itself more effectively into the global economy. These efforts have been shaped by various economic challenges, including sanctions, war, and political instability. Yet Iraq has continued to push forward with its agenda for monetary and economic stability. As part of this process, one of the key concerns for those monitoring Iraq's financial progress is whether the government and the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, will proceed with what is commonly referred to as deleting the zeros. This refers to a redenomination of the currency, which would essentially remove 3 zeros from the existing banknotes, thereby changing the nominal value of the currency without necessarily affecting its real value. This potential action raises critical questions about how such a move would impact those holding Iraqi dinars, particularly those outside Iraq who have invested in the currency with the hope of a substantial revaluation. The potential decision to delete the zeros stems from Iraq's historical monetary policies and economic circumstances. The Iraqi dinar has gone through multiple transformations, particularly following the Gulf War and the 2003 US-led invasion, economic mismanagement, and political instability. As a result, banknotes with high numerical values became common, even though their actual purchasing power remained low. In response, the idea of deleting the zeros has been proposed as a means of simplifying transactions, improving public confidence in the currency, and aligning Iraq's monetary system with international standards. Many countries that have experienced similar economic transitions, such as Turkey and Venezuela, have implemented redenominations to stabilize their financial systems and make transactions more efficient. For investors and currency speculators, the primary concern is whether the deletion of zeros would lead to an increase in the value of the Iraqi dinar relative to other currencies, particularly the US dollar. If Iraq proceeds with redenomination, it is essential to understand that the total value of the money supply remains unchanged, meaning the overall purchasing power does not increase. This is where misunderstandings often arise among those hoping for a dramatic revaluation. Many investors have purchased large sums of Iraqi dinars in anticipation of a substantial increase in value, but if Iraq opts for redenomination instead, the expected financial windfall may not materialize in the way they had envisioned. It is important to recognize that Iraq's monetary policy decisions will ultimately be based on economic realities rather than speculation. The Central Bank of Iraq has emphasized the need for financial stability, reducing inflation, and maintaining a controlled money supply. Any decision regarding redenomination or revaluation will be made with these goals in mind, rather than to fulfill investor expectations. Additionally, international financial institutions such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank often play a role in advising countries on monetary policy. Their recommendations typically favor economic stability over speculative currency moves, which means Iraq is more likely to adopt a gradual, structured approach to currency reform rather than an abrupt revaluation. One of the key factors influencing Iraq's decision-making process is the state of its economy. Iraq's revenue is heavily dependent on oil exports, which account for the majority of the government's income. While high oil prices can bolster Iraq's financial position, fluctuations in global oil markets introduce uncertainty. Additionally, Iraq has been working to diversify its economy by developing other sectors such as agriculture, tourism, and manufacturing. A more diversified economy would provide a stronger foundation for any potential changes to the currency system. Without such economic diversification, any drastic monetary policy changes could have unintended consequences, such as increased inflation or capital flight. Another consideration is Iraq's ability to manage the transition effectively if it decides to delete the zeros. A redenomination process requires meticulous planning to ensure that it does not lead to confusion among the public or disrupt financial transactions. Banks, businesses, and consumers all need to be adequately informed and prepared for the shift. If not handled properly, a redenomination could lead to mistrust in the currency, hoarding of old banknotes, or even economic instability. Historical examples from other countries highlight the importance of a well-executed transition plan to avoid potential pitfalls. Given these complexities, it is understandable why many observers believe that a straight revaluation without redenomination is unrealistic. While it remains the goal of many currency investors, the economic and financial realities suggest that Iraq is more likely to take a measured approach. This does not mean that the value of the dinar cannot increase over time, but rather that any appreciation will likely be gradual and tied to fundamental economic improvements rather than an overnight policy change. For those who have invested in Iraqi dinars with the hope of a significant revaluation, it is essential to remain informed and realistic about potential outcomes. Understanding the differences between redenomination and revaluation, as well as the economic factors driving Iraq's policy decisions, can help investors make more informed choices. Additionally, staying updated on developments from the Central Bank of Iraq, government announcements, and international financial institutions can provide valuable insights into the country's monetary trajectory. Ultimately, the goal remains to see Iraq strengthen its economy and currency in a way that benefits both the nation and its stakeholders. However, the path to achieving this goal is complex and requires a deep understanding of monetary policy, economic stability, and international financial trends. Whether Iraq chooses to delete the zeros, revalue the dinar, or take another approach, the key is to focus on the long-term economic health of the country rather than short-term speculative gains. By doing so, both Iraq and those with a vested interest in its currency can navigate the evolving financial landscape with a clear and informed perspective. Thank you for tuning in to the Iraqi Dinar Update channel. We appreciate your support and engagement as we continue to bring you the latest news, analysis, and updates on the Iraqi dinar. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an important update. Stay connected with us for real-time insights, expert discussions, and market trends. Until next time, stay informed and keep watching for the latest on the Iraqi dinar. See you in the next update.